Greetings, friends. This is Rev Jasper Tumuhimbise, the Group CEO of Church Commission Holdings Company Limited at Namirembe in Kampala, the investment arm of Church of Uganda. Thank you for tuning Right TV. I thank you for joining all our platforms. Today we want to look at again family altar regarding especially the issue of giving. Giving, when you give, you have the heart of God. And the Bible says in Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23, that the heart is the center of all things. So guard it. So today I want to talk about giving that is from the heart. If you read the Bible, the biggest problem has been on giving. Why? If you read Genesis chapter 4, you'll find that Cain and Abel, the first family fight that led to death was because of giving. If you check Jacob and Esau in Genesis chapter 25, the biggest challenge of that family was on giving food. But if you now move to the New Testament, you'll find that Martha was giving Jesus and his disciples. You'll also find that, Jesus, when he was tempted, the first thing was on giving. Turn these stones into bread. So in a way, giving is at the center of Christianity, the center of our lives. Then, if you read Acts chapter 5, a family of Ananias and Sapphira suffered death because of giving. Chapter 6, giving Hebrewic Jews and Christian Jews. So it became a challenge. So in many of the historical letters that Paul wrote, you'll find that he was addressing the issue of giving. And one of them in 2 Corinthians chapter 9, listen, he addresses things concerning giving. And today I want to capture verse 1 and verse 2 only. And in verse 1, he says concerning the ministry of saints, that giving is the ministry of saints. So if you are a family and you don't give, question your sainthood. If you're a man, if you're a wife and you are not giving, question whether you are still okay. So this is a ministry for all saints. If you are a saint, you must get money and give. Now, many people, especially in the prosperity gospel, have vulgarized giving because for them it is the only gospel. But the real intention of the gospel is that God so loved the world that he gave, John 3:16. And so if you are a saint, you will give. Secondly, and most importantly, in verse 2, you give out of love. If you love somebody, then you are able to give. And Jesus says in Acts chapter 20 and verse 35, as quoted by Paul, that it is blessed to give than to receive. And all things we do, whether missions, whether preaching, must be done out of love. So let me ask you, do you do things out of love, or it is simply out of comparison? And so this giving that the Corinthian people were encouraged to do is giving out of love. And as families, we must give out of love. And by the way, giving is painful. Giving school fees is not as easy for a parent. And then also giving people whom you don't know is not as easy. And many people, think that giving is like an investment. That when I give, then I need to be given back. But no, the Bible is clear that our giving must emanate out of love. And that love becomes real, especially when it is the love of Christ. Normally I wonder, and this is really as I move towards the end, I normally wonder what type of giving is when a man becomes a doctor like David Livingstone. Others were engineers like Engineer McKay, and then they leave their comfort, come to Africa. Many of them died of malaria. Others died of, infirmity, others were killed by animals simply because they were following Christ. And that's it. That what sort of love is this? That while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And so I want to encourage you as a family, begin the process of giving. Let that family be known for giving out, because the moment you give out, you are not a dam, you are like a river. And so may the channels of the living waters of God pass through you as you give to humanity. And I pray that as families, we shall give to church, we shall give to our neighbors, we shall give especially toward the Christmas season. We shall give to those who lack, we shall give. And as I will come to it later, giving out of love, it doesn't matter how much you have. Like some of us don't have time, but we have some little time to give to God, especially when you are preaching. And so may He bless you, may God keep you, may God help you to be a person who is a saint but gives out of love. This giving is out of love. And Paul is saying, now we move to verse 3, that since it is out of love, you must therefore prepare, to remember, to prepare. Many people give without preparation. Others give simply because they have met a need. But when you are giving to God as a family, you must prepare. Husbands must prepare to give to their wives. Wives prepare to give to your husbands. Husbands prepare to give, parents prepare to give to your children. But then when you are giving God, you must prepare. What does Paul say? Chapter 9, verse 3 of 2 Corinthians. But I'm sending the brothers in order that our boasting about you in this matter should not prove horror, but that you may be ready, as I said to you before. So there is the issue of preparation, that we should boast about people who prepare to give. Like, again, Church Missionary Society, I can assure you, they prepared to come to Uganda. David Livingstone prepared even his wife, who was a nurse called Mary, that he's going to Africa. And let me tell you, his heart was for the gospel, and he was a doctor. So he prepared to give. How do you normally prepare to give? In a church, when a basket comes for giving, do you just remember to get into your wallet and give? A proper person, a proper family is a family that prepares to go to church. It prepares a gift for God, and it prepares the way you prepare for weddings. The way you prepare, to meet important persons is the way you should prepare the gift. And that's what Paul is saying. But specifically in verse 4, for if any Macedonian come with him and find you unprepared, we not say anything about you would be ashamed. That when we don't prepare to give, then we ashame the one we are giving, but we also ashame the people who we expect to be giving. I was in a certain church, which I can't name, and we used to go as a family. And one of the things my wife detested about that church is a big man to get 2,000 and squeeze it and put it in a basket. A millionaire, I mean big men in terms of billionaires. They are billionaires, but they get 2,000 and squeeze it and put it. And my wife, that was offensive to her, that you can't have a church where a billionaire gets money, squeezes it, and puts it in the basket. She was saying that if it was a prepared giving, a genuine giving, then you just need to put it proper and then give it when everybody is seeing. Why? Because God sees giving as a matter of the heart. And that's why you need to prepare. But beyond preparation, verse 6, there is a reward for people who give. There is a reward for people who give. Listen to what the Bible says. Remember this. And let me tell you, my friend, this reward is real. That, remember this, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly. If you put down a mango tree, you will harvest mangoes. And the number of mangoes you'll harvest depends on the number of trees. It is a divine principle. It is a natural principle that what you reap is what you sowed, and that whatever you put down, if it is generously, you will reap generously. If it is sparingly, you reap sparingly. So, as a family, what are you sowing? Are they seeds of unrighteousness? That one you will reap. Is it corruption? Let me tell you, you will reap corruption in your family. And I can assure you, I want to encourage you as a family man, remember this, you reap what you sow. If you're a husband and you are moving around with younger girls, your younger girl will follow suit. It is a natural principle that you see this giving is not simply because of money. This giving is also what you do as a father, as a mother, also as a child, that you reap what you sow. You know, I was reading a small article where children were saying that, hey, dada and mommy are different when they are driving. When we are with daddy, every other driver is a fool, is a lumpen. But when we are with mommy, she doesn't abuse anybody. So, how come that fools drive when daddy is driving, and people who are saying drive when mommy is driving? You reap what you sow. And therefore they concluded that daddy must also be a fool, because the day he drives, he's driving with the fools, and that mommy is okay. What you reap is normally what you have sown. And again, Paul is reminding us that, remember, whoever sows sparingly will reap sparingly. I want my life, I want the life of my wife and children to be a life of abundance in sowing. And in Ecclesiastes, it says, chapter 11, that sow on top of many nations, and in due course you'll be able to reap. Sow on top of many waters, in due season you'll be able to reap. So as a family, once again, as we come towards the conclusion, what do you normally sow? We reap what we sow. What do you normally put out? We reap what we put out. As a mother, how do you react to a situation when your child has a problem? You reap what you sow. You abuse them, I can assure you, they will also abuse you. They may not say it directly, because indeed, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. You reap what you sow. So today, let's be a day of sowing love in our families, sowing peace and righteousness. Let's sow joy so that people will be able to know that those who trust the Lord are good families. And so may God bless you as you remember once again this, that God is a giver and you reap what you sow. And so we are ending with that verse. And in verse 5 specifically, so I thought it necessary to urge the brothers to visit you in advance and finish the arrangements for the generous gift you have promised. Then it will be read as a generous gift, not as one grudgingly given. So he's reminding us again that if you are going to grudgingly give, please don't give. But please, when you give generously that gift. Give it generously, because again, you reap what you sow. And so may this season be a season where you are giving for Christ, giving for the people of God, giving for the kingdom. And you can give through even giving Right TV and giving other, places of ministry, so that this may remain on air. May God bless you in the name of God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit.